Welcome back, everybody, to another episode. Glad to see you. I hope all is well. Today, it is cold and raining, so I'm in, as my wife calls it, the man cave. I call it the command and control center, staying dry and making some pool noodles. Basically, I use the noodles for jug fishing versus larger jugs, simply because there's not a lot of room on my kayak, and I can put 10 to 15 jugs using a noodle. It's cheap, inexpensive. You can buy this stuff online at Amazon, 30, $40, or, again, you spend $20 and you get all the PVC pipe, pool noodles. I get those from the dollar store. You got to use reflective tape on your noodles in Virginia. You also have to put your name and phone number, stuff like that. But they are legal, so it greatly increases my chances of catching fish, and I can try different depths, different baits, while still catching fish with rod and reel. Good times. So obviously what I'm doing here is drilling a hole for the line. I'll use mono, 30-pound mono typically, with a loop knot, so I can take the line on and off. I like to use different depths, 5 foot, 10 foot, 20 foot line. I always want to keep the line tight as possible when fishing. You don't want a lot of loose line. Now what I'm doing here is I'm lining the inside of a cap with the Gorilla Glue to obviously adhere it to the pipe, but also make sure there's an airtight seal. It adds to, it traps oxygen, traps the air in the noodle, giving it some extra buoyancy. Then you tap it. Now, part of the problem today, it was super cold, so the glue was freezing. I had to take it inside to let it dry. So in every state, there's a different ordinance, different law for jugging, whether it's putting tape on it so people can see it at night, or sometimes you can't even use them at all. So make sure you check your local regs. You can use them all different sizes. I put them in a 5-gallon bucket on my kayak, so I make them about a foot long, but I've also got some that are 2 foot long, and I use bigger noodles for, when I'm fishing for bigger fish. I've never had a problem with these noodles catching anything as far as disappearing. Sometimes you get a big fish, it'll pull them under the water for a little bit, but they always come back up. Now, as you're putting the noodle on the PVC pipe, make sure you're shimmying it down, or you file down the edges, because the sharper edges of the PVC pipe will grab the inside of the noodle and rip it. So again, either shimmy it down or just file down the edges so it's not as sharp. It cuts through the noodle a lot easier. It goes on really pretty tight, so I don't really need to put glue on the inside of it. I do put a little on the edge just to make sure that it's not going anywhere, but you really don't have to put any glue on or anything like that. It stays pretty tight on there. Now I'm using different colors because when I'm out there, I'll use different bait per color. Sometimes I will put the hook on the bottom of one color, and then the other, like with red, I'll do top water bait, whereas with the orange, I would do on the bottom bait. Just to try different things, always trying to find the right way or the best way to fish that particular day. No rhyme or reason to it, but again, it helps me keep it organized. Now I'm using reflective tape because, again, in Virginia Beach, you're required to have reflective tape on all your noodles. You got to put your name, your address, your phone number. And I get it, I guess, at nighttime. You want to make sure that boats can see your equipment, so you're not getting rope wrapped around their prop or anything like that. And you're supposed to make sure you can always see your jug. You're not actually supposed to leave it out there and come back to it. So I get that as well. Now I like to use glow in the dark at the top, just because it's an added layer of color. I can see it, especially at night. it gets hooked up, I want to know right away. I don't always have my light on, so the glow in the dark tape will glow no matter what, and it's pretty cool. Uh, just seeing the out of the darkness, fish hits that and starts running. It's pretty cool seeing the thing bob up and down. Now, I like to go around 2 or 3 times because it just makes the um, tape glow a lot brighter than if you just have one turn around the noodle. So real simple process. What I'll do is I use, again, loop knots to put all my line on here, as well as my sinkers. Sinkers are in the bottom of the bucket, kind of stops it from being top heavy. And the barbell looking noodles on the top of your screen covers things like crab traps, minnow traps. Basically, I'll tie a line around the middle of it and use that just to crab right off the kayak. That's the great thing about pool noodles. You can use them for just about everything. Give me some PVC pipe and noodles, I'm catching fish. Now, again, you want to make sure that the line that you're using matches the depth that you're fishing. Too much line will wrap around different structure. Plus, you want your line tight so it snags the fish a little bit better. If it's too loose, they can usually strip the bait off. Versus if it's tighter, it'll hook them a lot better. I just wrap the line right around the noodle. I'll take the hook and run it through one of the openings, one of the loops, and attach it to the noodle itself. You're going to need to switch these out about every 2 years, so it's not really hurting the noodle to put the hook in there. Eventually, the sunlight and water is going to wear down the noodle. And again, I just keep my line in the little baggies. I usually label it so I know exactly the depth. And then when I'm out there, I'll just pull the line out, put it on the noodle, and I'm good to go. Again, just wrapping that line around it. Take the hook out of it. And depending on what I'm fishing for, I'll use heavier weight for bigger fish. And then, if I'm fishing for, I'll fish for brim. I'll fish for some of the smaller fishes. I'll use less weight. If I'm fishing for big cats, I'll use a little bit heavier to try to keep it in place. There you go, guys and gals. Easy peasy. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Really appreciate you. Next episode, we're going to show you how to make cheap anchors. $20 to $50 an anchor is just too much. I can do it in 5. Again, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. See you soon.